museum has to ask some big questions about its future, about the future of the building, about the future of its relationships in the United Kingdom and internationally, and about its potential reach to a wider world. We want to open new sorts of dialogues between our collection and the public. We want to understand how social and other media can help. These are just a few of the issues that are on our minds, and we'd like you to think about and advise us on tonight.
Technology is there to enhance the visit, not to disrupt the principal activity of experience.
Whereas everything until now has been in 2 dimensions, the future is in 3 dimensions.
Museums shouldn't forget that there's one thing that they can do that no one else can do, which is put us into a relationship with a physical thing.
It's definitely possible in the digital era to transfer some emotional experience. It's just how you do it and if you do it correctly.
We only have a space to present a small proportion of our wonderful collection. How can we make the whole collection more accessible, more open?
I'd like a smart museum. I'd like the museum to be able to track my individual visit, work out where I went and what exhibits I stopped in front of and engaged with the most, and then send me further information and reading.
You can start to digitally unpack objects in ways that were never possible before. You can get to the inner life of the object. You can literally get under its skin.
The fact that we are getting so much information while we're looking at things, it takes away from the fact that we have to look ourselves.
I'm really happy where people are talking about zooming into paintings and things like that, but back in 2011, that was considered blasphemous by a lot of curators that I was speaking to. And they told me, you're going to ruin the consumption of art by allowing people to zoom too close into a painting.
I think the heart of this is that there's now a philosophical debate around what is a museum. And it goes back to how we want the relationship to be between the physical and the virtual.
Are you really going to come to a museum to get so much information? The power of objects is not to be underestimated.
Many of the objects here are actually, you don't get it at all because actually they're behind glass. They're not ideally illuminated. You can't get under them. You can't get behind them. But I think the Internet of Things, the future of IT, will enable us to exploit the power of the object in a way that we never have been able to.
Objects, that's the point of the museums. It's the point to kind of go in and see something amazing. I don't think that we're ever going to lose that. All we will do is augment it, and then we'll use the internet and digital technologies to allow us to spread those stories or take some stories away with us whilst giving us the ability to stand in awe.
I wonder what the panel's thoughts are on collections of the future, which will be born digital. How are we going to share those? How are we going to display them? And what will that mean to the museums in the 21st century?
And it seems to me that museums are very good at collecting the past, and to some extent they collect what they're able to collect. But I think the challenge is actually how do you collect the present, particularly when the present is so gigantic in its scope.
The present is being collected right now on the internet. It is being collected, and the role of the museum is to engage in that dynamic collection that's going on. If a museum got into that conversation, like the Getty that has just started actually interacting with Instagram collectors and realizing that affects their actual physical collections, that's the next step.